Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the AI Startup Pitch of the spring edition of the Malta AI and Blockchain Summit 2019, hosted by Microsoft, Salesforce, Nicholls Moisa, WH Partners, Growth Gurus, and Kamafa.com. Meet the judge. Anthony Grech, Certus Operations. Angelo Dalli, Unne. David Orban, Singularity Group AG. Dylan Seychelles, University of Malta. Alexei Dingley, University of Malta. Jackie Malia, International Management Services. Moderated by Rick Goddard, Sigma.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the battle for the AI pitch. One of my most personal favorite parts of the day. First of all, can we have a round of applause for our judges, please? Thank you, judges. Please be very kind. This is a new technology that we've implemented into our event, so please be kind on the startups. Now, I'm going to quickly explain to you the rulings and the rules of the AI pitch. So basically, we had over 300 startups apply. We narrowed it down to the 100 that was guaranteed a free startup booth at our startup village. Out of the final 10 contestants of the AI pitch, they were selected to pitch their idea, their product, in front of our judging panel. Okay? Now, first of all, we're going to introduce to our collaborators. The prize fund at the end, okay, as we all know, is what we call a package of services regarding marketing services, Salesforce training, Growth Gurus, marketing. We've got Microsoft. We've got WH Partners, law services, giving the startup that's our winner at the end of this some serious products to get their business up and running. Okay? Now, the moment we've all been waiting for, guys, can I please introduce on stage with us for their 3-minute pitch and 3 minutes Q&R from our judging panel. First contestant of the evening is Mr. Thomas Revillon from Global ID. Hello, Thomas.
Hello.
How are you?
A bit stressed, but I'm all good.
A bit stressed. How do you think I feel? Now, this is your time to shine. Please face the judges and the audience, okay? You're going to be judged. You have 3 minutes. The strict time in it is very, very vital.
Okay.
After 3 minutes, your mic will be cut. And after 3 minutes, your judges' mics will be cut. Okay?
Cool. Okay.
Please take your time to shine.
Yeah, definitely. Do you have maybe...
Do I have a fobber? I don't have a fobber. I'm sure our sound screens do have a fobber.
Cool.
Can we have a round of applause,
Thank
please,
you.
for Thomas?
All right. All good now? Okay, cool. Hello, everybody. So Global ID is a 3D finger vein biometric authentication system created in 2016 by Professor Lambert Sonna and his team of people having expertise for decades in tech, healthcare, research, and biometry, in order to answer to 3 identified problems, which are the risk of counterfeits of identity, the poor encryption of data, and the high risk of errors of authentication. In order to do that, they provide a reliable biometric authentication system based on the innovative 3D process of 3 single steps. This is create, read, and real-time matching of the data. What is unique with Global ID is that, as mentioned, it does really the 3D mapping of your fingers with the veins. So it's quite unique for every single human on Earth, which is better in a way that face recognition has some issues. Probably you heard about Apple having these kinds of issues. Quickly, here is an overview of the roadmap of Global ID with the creation and first proof of concept in 2015. The next 3 years were really in order to do some other proof of concepts and develop different kinds of prototypes. So we are really now in the phase of go-to-market with the third release of our prototype and different proof of concepts in banks, hospitals, and as well with a product that is going to be launched for proof of concept with the Red Cross and Atos next month. Basically, Global ID can be used in multiple verticals, but here are the 3 products that we propose. BioID, that is for states, administrations, and hospitals, in order to enhance the identification solution in, for example, medical patients, but as well border controls. BioLocker, at first for hospitals, in order to enhance the identification process. And VenoPay, as it says, in order to pay with your vein mapping. Here is a quick overview on how it works. So you put your finger into the device, you have some LEDs that light the veins, and then you have some captors that create and rebuild the vein infrastructure into a private blockchain where we store and encrypt the data. And where actually we have a process of data portability for all the entities within this network to have access. For example, different kinds of government entities. As of today, Global ID is doing a security token offering based in Switzerland, where we are opening our equity for 24% and looking for 6 million Swiss francs for post-money valuation of 25 million. Basically, that's quick. Yep. If you have some questions, feel free to send us an email or go to our website, globalid.ch or globalid.swiss, or even come to see us at our exposition booth in the Startup Village. Thank you very much for your attention, and I'm open for the questions.
Round of applause for Thomas, please.
Are you producing the hardware yourselves? And are you considering licensing it for production to third parties?
Yes, so actually we are producing really the software and the hardware. If I can go back on the presentation over here, yes. So you have the different kinds of products over here with the pricing. So the biometric cards and the 3D vein readers, etc., are already identified in regards to the cost, and we are actually into the phase of acquiring the first potential clients, either in the Chinese market, but as well in the US. The CEO is actually in the French embassy in Washington.
So if somebody came to you and said, I would like to produce the hardware, you would not license it to them?
Well, we can license, for example, BioLocker, which is really like we implement the hardware and the software within your environment, and then afterwards there is a licensing for a year. But if you speak about like white labeling the solution, we have to talk.
So what's the precision of the solution?
Sorry?
How precise is it?
Well, the error rate is about 0.001%. And because like every single human on Earth have a different blood flow and heart and vein network, it's actually way more accurate than facial recognition or fingerprints. For example, in migration, like we had a big crisis in Europe, and actually a lot of migrants have their fingerprints burnt, and every time they go to a new border, they have a new identity. With the finger veins, you can't do that.
And did you do user testing?
Yeah, we do have actually been doing a lot of proof of concept since 2015 with different banks. Last week, we implemented about 15 of those devices in the Hôpital de Jura in France. So we have a database already of information and people identified. And the goal now is really to expand globally our solution and start implementing those solutions in different businesses.
And how sensitive is it? I mean, if somebody moves the finger or places it in a different way, I mean, the reconstruction probably wouldn't be exact.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's the same as when you cross the border. Usually, you're not doing like this when you are...
No, inside the device, I mean.
Sorry?
Inside the device, because if you insert at an angle or something...
Yeah. Well, in that regards, it's actually pretty well built, so it's not moving inside. You don't want to have the components moving around.
Yes, but imagine somebody enters it sideways.
Well, the device is made for you to have really the whole finger captured into the device. So by doing this and having the sensors as well, like around the finger, we actually reduce the risk of these kinds of things. And as I mentioned, the error rate is quite low.
Okay.
Is that all, judges? Thank you,
very
ladies and gentlemen. Round of applause, please. Let's put your hands together for Thomas and for Global ID. Brilliant. Next up, we have Mark Anstead from Hydro. Round of applause for Mark. Hi, Mark. Welcome.
How's it going? Thank you.
And you have 3 minutes. There's your time to shine.
Alrighty. How's it going, everybody? My name is Mark Anstead. I am from Hydro, and I'm here to talk to you today about how we are building a new global decentralized economy. So a little bit about us. We are decentralized and community-driven. We are completely self-funded with no ICO or VC funding. We are proud to be a layer 2 protocol built on Ethereum, and everything we are building is open architecture and open sourced. So now into some of the protocols that we are building. Looking at it from the overhead, we have the digital identity management protocol called Snowflake, which is built on the Hydro ERC 1484 EIP, and this is basically the core of the entire ecosystem. We also have a payments protocol called Tide, and that enables for identity-linked payments. We also have 3 helper protocols, which enable for authentication, file management systems, as well as security tokenization. Encompassing all of this, being at an AI conference, we have Mist, which enables for artificial intelligence. So now let's dive into Mist. So Mist is basically the first of its kind fraud detection layer, and it utilizes artificial intelligence and machine learning to detect the transactions that are going to and from addresses. Mist also can analyze all of the transactions that are going to and from a Snowflake ID, which is a digital identity. It also can detect changes in behavior patterns and give a weight to them, and can also give them a reputation. One of the cool things that you can do with Mist is help prevent users from sending cryptocurrency or money to an address that might be compromised. Snowflake is our digital identity management protocol, and it is built on top of the ERC 1484 EIP. One of the really cool things about this is you're able to have applications be tied to a user's digital identity. You're also able to have decentralized applications be interconnected, so when you're going and using a new application, you don't need to have a new identity or Ethereum address created for each new application. You're also able to do KYC with onboarding users, as well as build different DeFi applications. Tide is our payments protocol, which enables for permissionless, gasless P2P transactions. And some of the different things that you can do with Tide, with our protocols, are for invoicing, interest, loan payments, and different types of P2P, B2B, and B2C transactions. Thank you guys, and I look forward to some of your questions.
Are you raising any money?
Currently, no.
Okay.
We have never raised any money whatsoever.
All right. I'm leaving then. Bye-bye.
For the Mist AI, do you have data that you have been training it on, and what technology are you using?
So as I mentioned, we're basically building on top of Ethereum, and the way that Tide is our payments protocol, and Snowflake is our digital identity management protocol. And from those protocols, applications are being built, and tons of data on a public blockchain is being generated. So what we're doing with Mist is we are going to utilize artificial intelligence to basically generate more data from the public ledger, and can do data analysis and predictions analysis.
Do you have someone actually labeling the data? Are you extracting it and analyzing the public transactions and saying, oh, this is fraud, this isn't? I mean, what are you doing on that area?
So we're basically going to be analyzing all of the transactions that are done within the ecosystem, And whether it's done on applications that we're building, applications that people in the community are building. So it's not really just what we're doing, it's what the entire ecosystem or what people out here who are developers and might want to build a solution. We're able to generate more data from that and analyze what's going on.
And how are you doing the data quality assurance aspect of it? How are you ensuring the quality?
We're basically, so right now we are currently in the architectural phase, so we're basically mapping out how exactly we want to do that. We are not currently in development for the AI phase yet. We are basically working with a lot of our community members and people who specialize in artificial intelligence and machine learning to communicate with them different ways that we can utilize it within our ecosystem as well as in the entire network of Ethereum in general.
Do you know which AI algorithm will you be using?
We're just going to be doing data analysis and predictions analysis.
Okay, so you're not sure about which algorithm you'll be using?
Not specifically
okay,
yet, no.
Fair enough. Now, one of the issues with these kind of fraud detection is that the amount of data, or rather the quality of the data is not so good. I mean, you can have a lot of data, but you have little information about the actual transaction. How are you going to solve that issue?
Specifically how we're going to solve it, that is something...
Because, of course, AI will need the data.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't have quality data, then you'll have issues.
Correct. So what we're basically going to be doing is examining how some of the data is being generated, because obviously we haven't built it out yet, built out the protocols and smart contracts to enable for some of these applications to be built and utilized. So we're going to be speaking with people within the community how to best generate and build out solutions to enable for people anywhere around the world to utilize those solutions.
Good stuff, guys, good stuff. Thank you. Round of applause to Mark from Hydro. We definitely have a fan down here of Hydro, a big supporter. And great questions and confident answers. So we're moving on. Next up, guys, we have AJ Casti from Kontrakt. Put your hands together, please, and show your support. Hi, AJ.
Hi, how are you?
There you go.
Thank you. So I tried once this one, right?
The green one is next, and the red one is back.
Okay, thank you.
Brilliant.
Hello, how are you,
Your 3
everyone?
minutes starts now.
Good afternoon. My name is Ajay Jasti from Kontrakt. And with the Kontrakt, you can create dynamic digital contracts to monitor contractual obligations in real time. So to address various multiple problems, that is like pretty much the contracts are static in nature, they are difficult to track and trace, and difficult to understand the obligations, and also difficult to reduce the conflicts and frauds with the existing contracts. And for that, I think it's a good time to move on to intelligent and self-aware contracts. So if you look at every individual in their entire lifetime, they pretty much accumulate many categories and subcategories of the contracts, but they need a dynamic contracts to manage efficiently. So our product, what it do is the legal contract, it goes into multiple transformations, and each transformation addresses particular market segments. And finally, it starts from physical contract, end up with embedded contracts for IoT devices. And the platform also integrates AI, IoT, and blockchain to provide self-aware, self-manageable, and self-executable contract. So our market reach is here. Contract can be a P2P, P2P network, or it can be a private network for enterprises. And our key advantage is we are a multi-sided market platform, and with operational tokens in the platform, and then machine addressable contracts. So our market addressability is, our share of market is around $26 million by 2023. To address this, though there are few weaknesses and threats, so we are going to address them with our strengths and then market opportunity across the world and across multiple market segments. And it is not possible. We have a great team and who very smart and hard work, and we are able to achieve them with this team. So with this, I would like to open the forum for question and answers.
So how are you doing the transformation of the contracts into self-executable contracts? What is the process?
So the process is, across the world, we have millions of existing contracts, whether it's in a physical form or in a digital form. So first step is to upload the current contracts if you have one, or you can take a template-based, utilize it, or it can be a free form. So if it is a physical form, then upload it first. The physical form then be transferred. The AI engine will monitor the contract, process it, and then it identifies what are the contractual obligations within that particular contract, and then it will initiate the self-execution process, so that then it starts monitoring with the real-time data coming from the, whether it can be a machines or it can be a Oracle data source. So then it can monitor and it can alert based on, like, say, for example, if you need a renewal of the contract, then it can alert it, or if there is any payment transformation, like it can do that. So there are multiple things you can do. So the AI engine is the one which is running inside the platform.
And if there are errors, for example, that the AI makes, do you have like an opportunity to correct it before you create the contract?
Yes, there is an option, like because before it goes into the self-execution, and then it can option is it can ask the user whether you are enabling it as a self-executed contract.
But how do you realize that there are errors? Are they checked?
Yes, before going to the production, so the system is going to be checked with a number of contracts. And because if it is a template-based, yes, it's already tested, the template-based contracts, and then it will put into the system.
But before you said there are other contracts which are not template-based.
Yeah, which are not template-based. That's why the contracts which has to go through the natural language processing, and then it identifies the particular obligations, say, for example, due date, and between who are the parties between the contracts, or we have to transfer any payments, or what are the interest rates. So all these obligations we have to capture while processing, and then you can create a smart contract structure, and then that structure will become, so it will create it, and then automatically goes into the system.
What are the main components of the NLP system?
So as of now, like we are using planning for Amazon, Comprehend, and then Amazon Textra. So those are the two things. And then also we are testing with NLTK.
Do you have a strategy against the bias?
What is that?
A strategy against the bias in your data.
Can you repeat?
A strategy against the bias in your data.
Bias here, because the biased data may not happen, because these contracts are actually already reviewed by the attorneys and lawyers, because they are on the producer side, and the consumers are pretty much individuals or businesses or machines. So these contracts are already reviewed and approved by attorneys.
Good stuff, good stuff. Thank you, AJ.
Thank you.
And let's hope your contract company will convince the judges to make a contract. Who knows, who knows. Moving on. Fourth in line for our finalist is Dr. Isami Outaleb from PharmaTrace. Let's show some support, guys. These are startups. Hello, doctor.
Hi.
How are we?
Nice meeting you. Good.
And your time starts now.
Hi, everybody. So I'm going to just jump right into the matter. So the story, here is the story. I've been working since 7 years as a senior management consultant in pharma. and healthcare, and I've been fed up with a couple of issues like counterfeits, like data silos, like fake data, lack of visibility and transparency, governance issues. Therefore, let me just highlight a couple of examples. For instance, that you have in the distribution of counterfeit, it's been cancer drugs stolen from Greek hospitals, which costs about 17 million. And this is like a really tiny one. Lack of reliable tracking. So we have faulty APIs and heart failure issues, which is going to affect us directly, basically, and our kids. So one case dead, it's one too much. Hence, this is basically what we found out. This is the issue. The issue is like we are centralized, and we are shifting toward decentralized, but it's not that good. Basically, if I'm going to just pick up the example of Twitter and what happens, that's why it's not that good, actually, decentralized. We would like to move it to the distributed network, which is going to be like transparent. Therefore, we decided to create PharmaTrace, which our core value is like from the community to the community. So the person first. The innovation should serve us as a community. Hence, patient security, supply chain, full transparency, easy auditing, and for sure AI. This is the four stages that we would like to build: security and tracing in the first, security as a second, third the transaction speeds, and then the data and analytics. Let's move on to the case studies. We focus now on R&D, audit, supply chain, and chronic disease. R&D, we just want to move patients that they should move on through the clinical trials on the right way with the right amount of investments. Let me just pick up the supply chain. We are fully track and tracing the whole system, which is going to be like have many advantages, like virtual stock management and traceability. On the other hand, let me just skip that one. We go to PharmaTrace asthma indicators, where we find out that basically we are working with the big pharma firm to develop a software that's going to enhance. We're going to predict the occurrence of severe asthma, which will enhance targeting efficiency and predict the incidence. This is what we can get. A model that's, for instance, show you that when your Salesforce needs to go where and at what time, and which doctors did they talk to, and this is for patients. And season started with patient, I'm going to just finish with the patient, and that's it. I'm happy to take questions.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Judges.
Are you shipping the product already, and do you have customers?
So basically, we are working now very, very strongly with a big pharma firm in Paris on asthma diseases, and especially my vision is I want to go beyond asthma to chronic diseases, that they have all the common indicators that they want to spot them, and we use algorithms like now it's latency space, and we'll move on to the network. In order to the network once we have more data.
Well, where exactly is your focus? Because you started from traceability and you finished with asthma, but your company, where is it focusing on?
I'm going to just pick up blockchain and AI. So this is the two components. So honestly, putting things on the blockchain, I would not say it's not rocket science, but it's not that rocket science. The thing is what we get out of it, those data basically. This is AI, machine learning. What is the benefit directly? And this is where we have, for instance, if you track well your source, the data, hence the data that come out in models, they are more secure and more true. So that's why we want to secure the ground, then work on the top with the amount of big data that we get.
So what AI are you using?
So for now, it's our transition to neural network, like I just said. To neural network.
Neural networks.
Yeah, exactly. And now, but we are using latency space. It's just because we have a tiny amount of data. That's why it's quick. But we transition neural network once we get more data. But this is, for instance, in asthma. We will have or we are working, basically, in a model for supply chain. It's a huge data amount that's going to come up, and we want like the people that they don't need to forecast by themselves. The system is going to say, based on seasonality, you have to now order, so that you don't get in shortage. So people who needs vaccines, for instance, they got them ready in their pharmacy in the corner.
Could you tell me a little bit more about your strategy for gaining more traction, more users?
More users, we want to show what we do, basically. It's just like our examples. Did they make sense? Did they serve us? So our clients, it's B2B first. So it means like we're serving businesses, governments. We're working with French government as well in a collaboration. And we're transitioning now. We're based in Munich. We're working a lot in France because of Macron. He's pushing the innovation. And in Germany, we're a little bit slow. But this is this model. And then in token model, we will have two kinds of token, one for professionals, and the second one is for investors. And they will talk to each other.
Thank you.
Time up, guys. Interesting stuff. Round of applause for Dr. Isami from PharmaTrace.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next up, how are we feeling, judges? Mixed feelings? Good? Not so good? We can smile. Brilliant. Moving on. Next up, guys, we have Mr. Pierre-Alexander Picard from, originally known as Predicoin, original new name now, renamed as Omenics. Omenics. Sorry. There you go.
Thank you so much.
Lovely to meet you.
Thank you.
And
Hello,
your
guys.
time starts now.
All right. Hello, guys. I'm Pierre-Alexandre Picard. I'm one of the co-founders of Omenics. Omenics is a cryptocurrency data analytics solution that combines content and metrics. I will quickly go on all the key points of this pitch, very fast. Intro, problem, products, what's unique, the traction, business model, investment, and team. But first, let me tell you a story. This is Harold. Harold is a crypto investor. But Harold is very stressed. He is very anxious. He is spending hours on Facebook, Telegram, Medium, YouTube, CoinMarketCap. But at the end of the day, he still doesn't know what to think. He still doesn't know what's going on the market. And sometimes, he's taking very bad decisions. This is why we are building Omenics, a platform that collects, analyzes, and scores every crypto-related data. We are basing our platform on several studies that have demonstrated that there is a strong correlation between news, social conversation, and price action. If you add to that the on-chain activity or the whales activity, it turns into a true nightmare for crypto investors because they feel overwhelmed by information and they don't know what is the true value of what they're reading, what is meaningful, what is important. And if you add to that the expected exponential growth of new crypto investors in the next years, we are going to face a problem, a big data problem. How are we going to be able to collect all this data, analyze it, and extract what is meaningful? This is why we are building a platform that can collect, analyze, and score every data. We are building our own IP in sentiment analysis, on trend detection. Petit blanc. And let me go to the next one. And we have released this platform a few months ago. So there is an online platform where you will get everything in one place. You will get the activity on Twitter from influencers. You will get the charts that give you insight on how it's going on, the news sentiment, for example, for Bitcoin, or the social activity. And we have also released the API for professionals that want to enrich, for example, their training models with alternative data, or who wants to automate investment, for example. And we also have widgets that can be integrated into third parties. We are getting traction from the online platform, professional and partnership. We are in advanced talk for integration with Bitstamp. And we are based on a subscription model, starting $19 by month for the online platform, $99 for the basic API. We also provide custom reputation on coins. And we are currently raising funds, £300,000. Our company is based in UK.
Time is up. Round of applause.
Thank you.
Judges.
What would you consider to be the original aspect of your product?
The original, you mean how we are different? Because we think that you can't only analyze the market based on only one vertical. We are different because we combine different kinds of vertical, the news, the social activity, the technical analysis, the fundamentals, and the buzz. What we call the buzz is like the trend, the interest of the market, of the crowd. It's like a compound algorithm that takes into account Google Trends, Bing Research, Alexa ranking, and stuff. We combine all together, and we provide a final score. We are different because we are providing scoring that we want to be actionable, that people can use to understand what's going on. And we will soon add also on-chain analytics that will come to enrich our scoring.
What are you going to do with the money?
So with the money, we will invest in the team, grow the team, develop customer acquisition.
And do you have revenue at all?
Yeah, we are starting to monetize since a few weeks, and we're already starting to have online subscribers and also professionals that are testing our data and starting to subscribe to API feed. Basically, we stream every hour new scores, and if you are a professional, we can give you much more scores than the online platform. For example, we got raw scores that are more reactive. Like we have like 30 data points that we can stream to you every hour.
And your team, are they all going to be joining full-time once you raise the money?
Yeah, so we already are 3 full-time. We are based in San Francisco and London, and we will reunite the team during the summer and hire more talents with us.
Is your AI component the sentiment analysis or something else as well?
Yeah, so we have built our own AI for sentiment analysis. We were not happy to do, like all the other competitors that work with IBM, Watson, or Google. Finally, they have the same thing to work on. We think that it's better to build our own AI with our own dictionaries, and also to do some context detection to understand what is around. It's not only analyzing the keyword, but it's analyzing who is tweeting, for example, and what is the context of this tweet, what is the context of the comments. So it's really going deep dive into the interaction that someone can have with a social network, for example.
And does your API give access to that sentiment analysis engine to be applied to some other problem domain?
No, we keep it for ourselves. We provide the score, but we get our own AI for the moment for ourselves.
There have been many sort of hedge funds in the past and competitors in the fiat space that have tried to replicate what you're doing, but not so successfully.
Yeah.
What makes you different?
Because you can't replicate the old model to a new economy. That is very
Time is up, guys.
That is very influenced by millennials, and that is creating much more available content than the previous economy. And we think the true value is to combining, for example, the on-chain activity with the social activity to detect patterns.
That's it, guys. Round of applause.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Passion, fight, anger. Next up, guys, we have fighting for the AI Startup Pitch Award is the COO and co-founder of Pynk, Mr. Rupert Barksfield. Round of applause for Rupert, please. And he even has a pink blazer on.
I'm out representing.
Fantastic. Nice to meet you, Rupert.
Good to see you.
And your time starts now.
Hi, everybody. Thank you very much for having me here today. It's great to be down in Malta. Emin, thanks for putting this on. It's a great gig. Has anybody invested in digital assets? It's pretty easy to lose, right, with all that volatility in the market. And it probably provides a little bit of comfort to know that you're not the only one. Out of the $4.5 trillion millennial investing market, 31% of those people have yet to get into digital assets, principally because of this. It's so high risk, and it's difficult to know when to buy and how to buy and what to buy. And we know this because we've got 1,400 users on our platform already, and they tell us this every single day. We've provided the solution that they want. So the principal problem that we're trying to fix here is risk. Only 5% of retail investors actually make a profit. And that's, as I mentioned before, is down to the limited amount of time you have to research and what to research, when to buy, and how to buy. And so the obvious thing to do here would be to invest into an investment vehicle or a fund or somebody professional, right? Well, you usually get excluded from that because you don't have enough money or you're not considered sophisticated or high net worth. And we don't think that's right. So our solution's for everybody. We allow anybody to invest into our fund, whether you've got money or not. We allow we've created one-click simplicity, and it's very easy to buy in or sell your position. And when you invest time versus when you invest money, you help us predict how the market's going to move. And we combine that prediction with AI to get a very, very accurate result. And we know we've got an accurate result because for the last 4.5 months, we've been trading our first investment vehicle very successfully. And in fact, with that investment vehicle, our crowd predicts movements on Bitcoin right now between 3 and 9% with an 87% accuracy 24 hours in advance. Now, we're not the only people out there using crowd wisdom, but we are the only people doing it in a regulatory compliant retail fashion. And we're there for everybody, allowing anybody to access our platform. The team behind this product has a lot of experience. Both myself and my co-founder, Seth, have exited digital startups before. And we've been joined by Maria from BlackRock and Mark, who's the ex-marketing director for Unilever. Our model is really simple. We share our profits of the investment vehicle back with the crowd and to our investors. And we access those investors through student communities first and expand out from there. So you're going to hear a lot about AI today and all the different uses of that. But the human brain has led humanity for 2,000 years. What's better than using that powerful mind plus AI to make a solution? Thank you.
Judges.
Has your prediction model been consistent throughout, or can you elaborate a little bit more on that?
Yeah, so we started gathering data in October of last year. We only started trading on it in February of this year. And yes, it's been consistent throughout. I mean, we've been testing different A/B testing ways of gathering that data, but we've now got to a really good solution.
Thank you.
Crypto markets are relatively shallow still. Which would mean that if you are successful attracting customers, you may not be able to execute the trades that you want.
Which is why I'm very excited to say that from next week, we're adding the NASDAQ Composite and Gold to our platform. And at the end of the year, we're also adding property, and in 2020, we'll be adding early stage VC. Thank you.
Can you explain a little bit how do you combine the crowd wisdom and the AI part?
Yeah, so the AI looks at individual track record, and it looks at geolocation as well. So individual track record will tell us how good they are at predicting, but also whether or not they want to stake or make a stronger prediction. We just look at that across the whole crowd, so we know who the experts are and who the non-experts are, and what the political kind of environment that they're actually in, where those predictions are coming from.
Do users have to pay a fee for the app?
No, so our crowd, we pay them. We pay them in points initially, and we pay them out a dividend of the profits of the fund quarterly. If we are selling the data, yes, we will be charging the fee to that data fee, but that's not our principal model.
You said anybody can participate from a jurisdiction point of view. You're not excluding any?
From an investor standpoint, we cannot accept US, Canadian, and North Korean funds initially, but we are working on a solution to accept US funds from the end of this year, start of 2020. Anything more?
Well, are you raising money?
Yes, we are going into our Series A. We were launching that in June, and I'd love to have you part of it if you'd be interested.
And how many users do you have currently?
Currently, we have 1,400 users on the platform. We've just had a rapid expansion growth. Part of being at the end of our pre-seed round allowed us to spend a little bit more on marketing and growing that crowd out.
And how did you get those users?
So starting with student communities first, so student blockchain societies and crypto societies. We were originally called the Crypto Crowd, and we changed our name just before the last Malta summit. So yeah, we started with those guys and expanded out from there.
Time is up.
Okay.
Congrats. Round of applause to Rupert. Thank you.
Cheers, Rick.
Confident answers there, leaving the judges speechless. Moving on. That is 6 down, 4 to go. Next up, fighting, we have Mr. Tudor Kolev, the chairman of Scynet. How are you doing?
Good.
Nice to meet you, sir.
Nice to meet you.
That is your fobber. You'll be needing that. Thank you.
Yes.
And your time starts now.
And my slides are not here.
Ah. This is not your presentation.
Not my presentation.
No. This is not his presentation. We've become that advanced in AI, we've decided to do it without a presentation.
Yeah, of course I can also do without a presentation, but you'll see it's a very nice presentation.
I'm sure our sound check. Here we go.
Oh yeah,
we've not
here
left
it is,
you
and
out. The odds are not in your favor.
I told you it's going to be an interesting presentation. Okay, so should we start? Okay, we just recently entered the era of AutoMLs. These are machine learning algorithms that, given enough computing power, can learn to design other machine learning algorithms. Or in buzzword terms, this is an AI that creates AI, and is already demonstrated to outperform human researchers. Such a perpetually advancing AI might increase inequality and even become an existential threat to our civilization if it's developed by centralized entities with centralized interests that have a high risk of becoming a single point of failure. Okay, so we need to ensure that this new technology is built and deployed in a distributed and open way for the good of all humanity. That's why our team is on a mission to build Scynet, a blockchain-enabled open infrastructure for self-improving AI agents. These agents can specialize in simple tasks, or they can use each other to solve more complex problems. Scynet is a decentralized network of AutoML nodes that are running open source software and collaborating through a blockchain protocol with zero-knowledge proof validation mechanism for verifying agents' performance. The Scynet's utility token economy incentivizes the nodes to invest computing power and provide data for training AI agents, and then it allows algorithmic clients to discover these agents and to hire them. The computing power for the network comes from miner nodes, the same miner nodes that are mining Ethereum, for example. And currently, about 35 exaflops, or about 35 human brains of computing power, are mining Ethereum alone. But with the adoption of proof-of-stake consensus, it's likely that a lot of these miners will be looking to switch to a useful proof-of-work networks like Scynet to utilize their resources and make profit. While a wide range of classification, regression, and reinforcement learning applications will be available and emerge once the network is operational, we need to choose something for the first use case of the network that's immediately applicable and profitable enough to pay for the computing power invested. That's why we'll bootstrap the network on the domain of algorithmic trading of crypto assets, which indicates to be an exponentially growing market. We have already published a paper showing our results in predicting crypto assets price based on blockchain transaction data, which was awarded to several science fair competitions, including Intel ICEF. We have also another paper that describes the Scynet's architecture and protocol, and we just recently achieved a major milestone with running a working testnet demo. The Scynet project is developed by the Comrade Cooperative, a cooperatively owned decentralized autonomous organization established in 2017, which have already raised €400,000 from, including
Time is up.
Okay, including investments and grants from 2 other major blockchain projects, including.
Excuse me, is my mic working, please?
Yeah, including Eternity and Aragon.
Judges.
Thank you.
Usual question, are you raising and how much?
Yes, we are a cooperative, which means we are not a company, which means we are not a we don't have equity, but we are planning a token distribution event probably around the autumn this year. And we currently have funding in the form of debt funding from several investors, including Eternity and Aragon. Other questions?
How are you going to make sure that you're actually fighting the bias that you are implying that's happening by corporate companies? And how can you make sure that whatever is being stored on your system and generated is actually understandable and feasible to process to understand?
Yes, so we're building a distributed and decentralized system over which we don't have a lot of control, we just have the protocol. And what we are finding is not the bias of the big companies, we are fighting the fact that they are single point of failure. So they can get censored or down or things like that. But the idea is that we have this validation protocol, knowledge proof validation protocol, in which independent validators of the network are validating the performance of the agents. And these validators, they can embed different mechanisms for fighting biases and so on.
Neural network design is still mostly human-centered.
Yes.
And you are aiming to automate it through an evolutionary approach. Can you illustrate the validation of the approach with modern algorithmic trading?
Yes, so basically Google showed in 2017 that given enough computer power, namely 10 exaflops of computing, they can produce better results on the Cypher 10 dataset compared to the best human researchers this year. And of course, this applies only when you're recognizing images. Let's say if you want to build a transformer network, it's still a human task, but still for simple tasks, right now AutoMLs are beating it. We have AutoKeras, we have AdaNet, we have Transmograph. These are all kinds of AutoMLs that are getting open sourced right now.
Apart from storing the results on the blockchain, are you using it for anything else?
We are not storing anything on the blockchain. We are actually using Tendermint and the Cosmos network just for coordination between the nodes. But the nodes are kind of independent, like they have peer-to-peer communication off-chain for actually transferring the data and so on.
So where is the use of blockchain?
The blockchain is for the protocol, for the rules, because we have these tournaments that are used to validate the agent's performance, and we use the blockchain for coordinating the tournaments and the rest of the protocol.
Isn't that too slow for AI?
No, the protocol is actually pretty good because, as I said, we are having a Tendermint consensus, so we have our separate blockchain. That's only for Scynet. We are not sharing blockchain with someone else.
Time is up. Thank you. Round of applause, please, for Tudor from Scynet. Interesting stuff. Interesting stuff. Next up, I am going to attempt to pronounce this correct. We have the CEO and founder of Unbiased, Mr. Sukesh Kumar Tedler. Show your support, guys. Did I get that right?
Yeah.
Did I get that right?
Yeah, it's unbiased.
Unbiased?
Yeah.
I've got unbiased.
Yeah.
I do apologize. Our AI technology has made a spelling mistake.
Okay. So good afternoon, everyone. My name is Sukesh. I'm the CEO and founder of Unbiased. Today, I'm here to explain why we do what we do and how are we challenging the real-world problems. So let's get started. Today, more than 2 billion people use internet and social media. It's our primary source of information today. And we can all agree that the current business models of social platforms is ethically broken. But at the same time, these platforms are part of the bigger issue of fake news and misinformation. Today, we have a brand ambassador for fake news. So fake news has cost US an election and Europe a Brexit, and now it's even killing people across the world. So it's a serious problem. It's time to act. So our mission at Unbiased is to fight fake news and misinformation using technology. So this is a complex challenge. Fake news is like many-faced God from Game of Thrones. So it exists in different formats today. So we at Unbiased have come up with a 3-phase strategy where we build tools and applications which are open and transparent, and which help us build solutions for the next generation algorithms. So during phase 1, we are building Unbiased Data Marketplace, a blockchain-based solution using global workforce combined with global workforce combined with AI and data annotations. So we are generating data annotations using this technology. So during phase 2, we are building Unbiased Search Engine, an open platform which presents you insights instead of a bunch of links like other search engines. So during phase 3, we are building social platform, which is more like a social gateway and will be the de facto standard for next generation content creation on the internet. So as we are fighting fake news, at the same time, we're competing in a $200 billion industry of social media data analytics. So we have individuals, businesses, and governments as our customers. And we provide incentives to content creators and value creators and fact checkers on our platform. We provide subscription services. We are using digital token to make the whole process transparent. So today we are a global team of 20 members with one single goal and purpose: to fight fake news.
Time is up.
And make value for every individual's opinion on the internet. Thank you.
Thank you. Judges.
How are you recruiting the fact checkers? Because I think those are key to building your data set initially.
Yeah. So like when it comes to fake news detection, we are using 2 methods. One is, of course, using AI algorithms to first initially filter it out. And then we are trying to cooperate with different fact-checking networks today. So we are more like an aggregator of aggregators. So we can present you with different opinions from various fact-checking networks. So we try to incentivize these people so they can join our community and platform. So it's a mix of AI and crowdsourcing.
And what's your business model? How are you making money?
So as I described before, as we are fighting this fake news, we are generating verified content on the internet and verified data. So using this data, it can be fed to business insights, data analytics, and market research, a lot of things.
You mentioned 4 phases in the present tense. Which of them are real and which of them are aspirational?
So it's actually 3 phases that we are working with. So we have started working with phase 1 and phase 2 already. We have a working prototypes today.
Have you onboarded users?
No, we haven't launched it yet. We have an internal working prototype today. And we started with the blockchain community as the beginning to provide and extract insights from the community.
You responded to the previous question, how do you use AI, by saying we use AI. Mm-hmm. Can you get into some more detail?
Yeah, so today we are using NLP techniques, and then we built our own algorithm for NLP, which is basically, I have to mention this because last week we managed to get better results than the existing benchmark standards of NLP today.
How does the NLP label a piece of news as fake?
So we are using semantic analysis, looking into different syntaxes, similarities between different articles which are already tagged as fake, or trying to find different issues within the articles and text data. So that's our first layer. So it's like we can filter out at least 50% of
Are you raising money?
Yes, we are.
How much?
So we have 2 types of investment opportunities today because under Unbiased, we have other portfolio businesses as well. We provide blockchain infrastructure as a service. So just for the core product, we are raising $500,000 US. And for the whole Unbiased company, which is a Swedish company which has multiple projects, and for that we are raising $1 million in total.
Pre-money valuation? Pre-money valuation?
So far we haven't raised any funding. The post-money valuation is...
Time is up.
Yeah, 10 million euros.
Are you using any machine learning?
Yes, we are.
Which is?
The NLP techniques.
No.
That's it, guys.
All right.
Round of applause. I do apologize on the announcement. Thank you very much. Next up, we have Kafia Nissan from Valid Network. Can we show some support, please, for Valid Network? Passionate guy. There's yours, and there's yours. And your 3 minutes starts now.
Okay. So hi, everyone. Thank you for staying. Everyone is hungry. My name is Kafir Nissan, and I'm the CEO of Valid Network. And we do cybersecurity for blockchain applications. And we use AI and machine learning to ensure trust. If we look at traditional cybersecurity, application security, network security, and any other type of security, they are not enough when we are looking at the future of autonomous world. When we look at autonomous cars and vehicles, the insurance companies, the regulators, everybody is afraid from the first time an autonomous vehicle will ride alone on the streets. The same way, autonomous code, that's the backbone of the blockchain, running autonomous business processes. If you take a decentralized app and you want it to run without a gatekeeper, this can cause a huge catastrophic effect with a single logical mistake written in the smart contracts. If you look at cybersecurity, most of the cybersecurity solutions are looking at consistency of transactions, about correctness of code. None of them are looking at the business logic layer. And this is where we bring our proprietary technology, understanding the business logic and securing it. We do it with a complete framework of solutions that are across the entire decentralized application lifecycle, through the development stage, the deployment stage, and the runtime monitoring of live transactions. Our team, me and my co-founder, we are working for more than 10 years together. We bring 4 decades in the IT enterprise industry, working for HP, for Microsoft. Our lead researchers was managing the research lab of Deutsche Telekom in Israel. Our lead developer was a team leader at Gigia in identity management. As a company, we are about 1 year old. We started in April. In October, we raised our seed round of $2 million from JVP, one of the best Israeli VCs. And I'm happy to say that 2 weeks ago, we found the very first vulnerability in the wild that affects real money. And this is a huge achievement for a very young startup. Thank you very much. And I'm here for your questions.
Judges.
Congratulations for finding the first vulnerability. So as you work with potential clients, how do you go about deploying, engaging, and what is your expected life cycle of a client?
Okay, so we have 2 different deployment scenarios. One is we offer as SaaS. You can just connect your code repository to our platform, and then you use us in your development stage, and then we monitor your ongoing operations. So the lifetime of a customer can be from 5 years to 10 years to 15 years. And we have an on-prem installation for companies that do not wish to go out, and it's the same. The implementation is very, very easy, between 2 days to 5 days on-prem, and it's very fast and easy, plug and play, basically.
Autonomous IoT networks are expected to have very novel failure modes. I am not sure I understand how you are able to predict those because they may not stem from isolated software sources.
Okay, so basically, one of our key proprietary assets is that we scan more than 500,000 smart contracts that are out there. We analyzed everything, we indexed them, and we have a huge repository of best practices. And one of our key value proposition is that for developers, we have like a find and replace vulnerability. Once we find an issue in your code, we offer you a replacement, and everything is done automatically. In the world of IoT, if smart contracts will be the one that the predefined rules will be set in a smart contract, those smart contracts need to be audited and continuously audited, and once you want to update, change, whatever, you still need our predictive analysis tool in order to ensure that there is zero future impact with the release of new versions of your smart contract.
Do you have free tiers in the SaaS model as well, or paid tiers only, and what is the base price?
Okay, so it's only a paid tier. We are a B2B company, and there is a $2,000 per month for 10 seats, plus $7,000 per 1 million transaction, and the price grows according to the amount of transactions.
And how's your revenue figures looking already?
We are now in the stage of paid pilots, so we still don't have MRR or...
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Round of applause to Valid Network. Now, we was waiting on our last finalist. I do believe, oh, he's here, he is here. Please let me introduce you to Zane Rana from Pharmeum. Zane, round of applause for Zane. There's your phone button.
Thank you.
Zane, your 3 minutes starts now.
Hi, ladies and gentlemen. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Pharmeum. Today, I'm going to be talking to you about our blockchain and AI platform and how we're revolutionizing healthcare for every single one of us. So Pharmeum's vision is straightforward. We're using private blockchain technology to allow medical data to flow globally. At the patient's own control, they can transfer this data to all healthcare participants. This data is fed into our AI algorithms that analyzes the information for any errors, irregularities, or unusual patterns, thereby minimizing human-based errors. So what Pharmeum is doing is allowing patients to connect to doctors, pharmacies, pharmaceutical companies, hospitals, and insurance, all under our smart network. The problems we're addressing affect every single one of you in this room right now. Medical errors are the third largest cause of death. As a healthcare professional in training myself, I've seen this in first-hand experience. To put this in perspective, ladies and gentlemen, if you look to your left and right, the three closest people to you, including yourself, statistically speaking, one of you will be affected by a medical error. In 2019, this shouldn't exist. The next problem we're talking also and addressing is expensive medication. Some have increased by as much as 40% since 2015. The security of medical data and the rapid transfer in today's digital era should be enabled. Medical data has been estimated to be worth more to cyber criminals than your own credit card information, which tells you everything. The opportunity is absolutely astronomical. In 2019 alone, $872 billion will be transacted in medication alone. This is rising to $1.2 trillion by the year 2024. The ability to tokenize this industry is revolutionary for healthcare as a whole. Since Pharmeum's first product, Blue Patient, which is an analytics software, this has been adopted in the UK's National Health Service as of last year and is in use on a daily basis. UK is one of the most strictest regions for healthcare adoption as well, which is fantastic traction for the project. Pharmeum's solution is 4 specific layers. The first layer is a blockchain-based system. That's a private permission blockchain based on Hyperledger Fabric that allows patients to transfer their medical data in a matter of seconds, verified and validated all of the blockchain. The artificial intelligence layer has that data fed into it and analyzes for any errors. It consists of deep learning and reinforcement deep learning and analyzes any unusual patterns that can indicate medical errors. And the idea of Pharmeum is to enable doctors to have less workload, pharmacies enhance their revenue streams, and patients benefit from patient-centric healthcare. This is our roadmap going from 2017 up until the point where right now, with the products we've developed, anyone can go into our website and check that out. Just a bit about our team. Again, you can go on the website and the partners we have on board, all of whom share the same passion and electricity in revolutionizing healthcare and delivering real results. And about our token ecosystem as well, being used to tokenize one of the largest industries in the world and payment for healthcare costs.
Time is up.
Oh, bloody hell.
Thank you. Judges.
Hi. I'm just wondering, in terms of data security, whether you have any measures for that.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, what can you tell us about, how you're securing the data? Because obviously it's very sensitive medical data, and if you can tell us a bit about that.
Yeah, so we're using an off-chain, on-chain mechanism. No private information is stored on the blockchain. Due to its immutability, you wouldn't be able to erase that. So when it comes to Health Information Portability and Accountability Act, standard GDPR rules, and all of the other regulations that slightly different countries, we're fortunate that because we're using a permission blockchain architecture, we can tailor it. It's very plug and play in the sense that different jurisdictions and the different regulations they have, and security-wise, is far beyond that than any other systems being in use. And future-proof as well, based on where the direction GDPR seems to be going with user control and erasure and right to anonymization. We'll be able to grant this for every single person as well. No more questions?
No, I have the usual question.
I was waiting for this one as well.
Are you raising, and how much?
So we're running a token sale as an initial exchange offering, most likely in Q3. We're raising as a soft cap 1.5 million and a hard cap of $9 million.
And what's going to be your business model?
So the business model is in the sense that when patients transfer their data and pay for it, pay for prescriptions essentially and their medication. We take a commission from each sale for pharmacies. So pharmacies have zero overhead costs, and they actually increase their revenue streams by using the Pharmeum platform. It can coexist with other systems in use, so it enhances adoption. There's no need to reinvent the wheel overnight, which is a massive problem for blockchain adoption. There's other revenue models which we can also tap into. When patients want to monetize their medical data using Pharmeum, we'll be using zero-knowledge proofs to accomplish this. We'll be able to take a cut out of that commission as well. And also, there's another model that we'll be looking into, which is a subscription model for hospitals that want to use the Pharmeum AI and the Pharmeum system for their patients. They'll save money on costs for admin work, paper processes, errors, lawsuits. It's a massive area. We'll be able to take a subscription model from that as well.
What is your target market, first go-to-market?
The UK. So we've already got significant traction in the UK's National Health Service, which is the public sector. Then we're going to be working on the private sector.
Define significant traction?
So we already have our first product being used. I think as of last year, around 5,000 to 7,000 patients have already used this, using NHS pharmacies. Anyone who's from the UK would realize it's one of the most strictest healthcare regions, which is fantastic because actually they reached out to us, which is even better. In time as well, I'm not getting interrupted.
In time. I think we'll finish it on that. Fantastic stuff. Thank you, Zain. Thank you. Now, our 10 finalists have pitched. The way that it's going to work, we are going to be collecting the votes. We are going to be counting the scores. But while we are receiving the judges' scores, I've got a couple of thank yous I want to make. First of all, I want to thank our collaborators. Okay, let's give a round of applause to them. Without them, guys, it wouldn't be possible. And also, I want to thank my colleague that's just walking off stage now. She's walking away from me. Give us a wave. Sophia, she was the organizer of the AI pitch. What a fantastic job. I love this guy's enthusiasm down here. As we're collecting are we collected? We have the scores on the doors or not? We don't, we still don't. Okay, fantastic. Now, as we are collecting obviously the scores, I just want to make you aware, obviously AI is a new industry that we've implemented to the AIBC Summit. We will be back here in November, okay? So join us, be with us. All right, excited. I'll be here. Hopefully you'll be here with us, all right? It's without a doubt an exciting, a fast-moving, and an unknown industry. And what's to come, This is why we're obviously entering a winter edition of the AIBC, because obviously it's such fast moving and we want to stay pace with the market. Okay? So I believe we're just totting up the scores. Any feedback from the judges while we're calculating the scores? Anyone want to add? Don't ask me if I'm raising. Don't ask me if I'm raising.
So the traditional definition of startups is always be raising. Obviously,
Absolutely.
Maybe we are adopting a new definition, which is perfectly fine, but I still needed to ask the question.
You don't need to justify to me, Judge. Brilliant. Any more? Any more feedback? No? We must have blown them away then. More women, yes. It's a bit masculine on our panel. But no, I believe they're doing a great job. Thank you for supporting us, just while we're getting in. Let's make a round of applause to the judges. As we are just...
It's interesting actually to see the new innovative startups actually coming up, because I think AI is quite an interesting industry to invest in, and as you said, it is still an unknown. So the next big thing can be starting up somewhere in a garage, somewhere.
It is an unknown to some
else.
of the startups as well. When you ask them, you do AI? Yes. How? Oh, with AI. All right.
So, I mean, guys, obviously this is obviously a new industry, an exciting industry. I mean, do you want to sort of explain your sort of, obviously you're judging a panel on AI technology, and sort of your thoughts of where this industry is going to go to? I mean, do you have any sort of what you believe the future is going to hold for AI, and why it is going to be a sort of huge implement in the world?
A very good analogy is by Kevin Kelly, who is one of the founders of Wired magazine and a great analyst of the technology platform and landscape. He says AI is like electricity 100 years ago, and it is going to be the engine of thousands and tens of thousands of startups. Wow. And as of right now, you can actually think of X plus AI. So you can start to reimagine how you approach a business or a sector of the economy if you re-engineer it with AI in mind. And today that is a clear differentiator. And similarly to how, if you went to a corporation and they said, oh, we are using electricity, you wouldn't be very much surprised. Maybe in 10 or 20 years, using AI will be the default, but of course today it is not yet like that.
I think AI is going to be very pervasive. I think it's going to be everywhere and ubiquitous. So I do see the commoditization of AI to happen, just as smartphones were novel at some point, and nowadays everyone has them. I think that AI is going to be absolutely everywhere. And I think the best thing that can happen to AI is if everyone stops almost mentioning it. Again, no one mentions about innovation in electricity anymore. I mean, no one is excited pitching the grid, the electrical grid, but without it, we wouldn't do anything.
One of the reasons why this may not actually happen is because the speed of change in AI research and the upside opportunity of discovering completely new approaches is very, very open. So the very definition of AI is changing, and new kinds of AI are emerging all the time.
Okay, thank you, judges. The scores are in. The winner, the 2019 spring edition of the Malta AI Blockchain Summit AI Startup Pitch is Robert Barksfield from Pynk. Round of applause. You are the winner of the startup pitch. Please come and collect your award. I think it was the jacket. Congratulations. Do you want a photo? Do you do a photo? Great, so well, speech. Whoa, 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 whoa.
Speech. A speech. Look, nobody really wants to hear a speech from this, but I just wanted to say, look, thanks very much for listening to what we're doing. Obviously, you've seen Pynk. I would suggest that everybody gets their phones out. Have you got a phone? People in this room, have got a phone, right? Go to Pynkster, P-Y-N-K, you can see the word up there, Ster, S-T-E-R.com. Make a prediction today, and we'll predict what Bitcoin's going to do tomorrow. All right, thank you very much, everybody.
Great stuff, Rupert. Thank you very much. And that is it for the spring edition of the AI pitch. Thank you, judges. Thank you very much. That is it. And now I believe we're off to another panel. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. And actually, could you please join me in putting your hands together for Rick? He absolutely hit it out the park for us today. Please give him a big round of applause. Thank you so much, Rick. I thought I was good. You nailed it. That was awesome. Okay, so as you know, this conference is the one that keeps going. It's the continuous conference. The next talk is at 2 o'clock. So please make sure you're back in here. This is the time to grab a coffee, come back in, and then we'll see you at 2 o'clock. Thank you very much. Oh, you don't clap me.